Topping the news tonight, just 3 days after Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, announced in a national address that commercial activity can resume in Cat Island, Long Island, Andros, and Abaco, he's defending his decision not to open other islands like Exuma, Eleuthera, and San Salvador. Well, tonight, Altavi's Munnings has this report after an exclusive interview with the Prime Minister as he explained his decision.
Good evening, Keishla, and good evening, Bahamas. I've made requests on several occasions to interview the Prime Minister on the COVID-19 pandemic, and he granted me the opportunity earlier this afternoon in his office at the Office of the Prime Minister in Cable Beach. And he didn't mince words on any questions I asked him. The Prime Minister talked about approving repatriation flights to the Bahamas, and he says he's heard the concerns about not resuming commercial activity in some islands as opposed to others.
We must assume that there's a possibility that individuals may have entered the island, and an island can possibly go viral on you. So if an island goes viral, one has to recognize how many individuals you can transport from that island to New Providence, bearing in mind that if any illness there, to transport them via air ambulance, you must use what you call an incubation tent. That incubation tent, that's one use, and it's $10,000. So if a particular island goes viral or goes left on you, you can manage that. If you open up all and two go viral on you, you have a catastrophe. Your health system may possibly melt down. So whatever we do, we must take into consideration our capacity to manage, our capacity to transport. Yes, they are sterile at this time, but we must assume that if anything goes wrong, we must be on top of it, never catching up. But we also know that this is the economic time for Andros's economy. And many Androsians depend on crab. The export of crab to New Providence and wherever else. That's like Christmas for them. That's their economic engine. So we had to make a determination, do we open San Salvador, Eleuthera? Because there was only one additional island we were going to open. Do we do San Salvador? Do we do Eleuthera? Or do we allow the Androsians to take advantage of this particular time when their economic engine is roaring? That's an entire population we had taken into consideration. And I could not allow them not to take advantage of a situation like this when their economy is booming, and a time when the Androsians themselves depend on their livelihood. The amount of monies that they generate at this particular time take them through to the entire year. So that was a deciding factor there. I could not lose such an opportunity. So as a result, the decision was made to release Andros and hold back the remainder at this time.
When the borders closed in March, government initially did not allow Bahamians stuck abroad to return home. When asked why the decision was made to do so now, the Prime Minister responded that the COVID-19 pandemic is now under control.
They were coming from unsterile environment. We were just getting ourselves together, controlling our environment, putting all the infrastructure in place within the health system so that should we experience an increase in COVID infection, we can manage. We can manage Blake Road Doctors Hospital, we can manage PMH, we can manage South Beach Clinic, and therefore we made all the infrastructural adjustment. But the one thing you don't want to happen is for your hospital, the capacity to overload. You must manage properly, and that's health. Health, it's all about prevention and being proactive, not catching up.
In his recent national address, Prime Minister Minnis announced that a COVID-19 authorization card and official government identification will be allowed for inter-island travel. Registration for that process began on Wednesday. The Prime Minister said he learned that hundreds of Bahamians had to reside outside their home until government granted approval for their return home.
We've decided we'd do it stage-wise. Stage one, those who are trapped here are allowed to go home. Then after, we further expand. And that's a great volume that has been here a long time. And they've just been complaining that they've been trapped here for over 6 weeks. They want to get home. They're going into a sterile environment. They're moving from an unsterile environment. And therefore, they receive their COVID card and they go into their sterile environment. That sterile. If, on the other hand, they want to come back, then they're moving from a sterile into an unsterile, and therefore they can move freely. But when they want to return, they'd have to get a card again to ensure that they've not been contaminated or exposed.
Tomorrow we'll tell you how the Prime Minister responded to questions on whether or not lockdowns and curfews will continue after May 30th, no recent reports of new positive COVID-19 cases, and why he decided to take on the cabinet portfolio of Minister of Health. I'm Altaviz Munnings, ZNS Network News.